So this is my, I would say this is my favorite numerology topics because we are in a relationships. It's this webinar called Relationships and Numerology, or what the number says about relationships. So a little bit about myself. I have started numerology studies about a little bit over 20 years ago, and since then I actually, over the years, I start to teach other people the system, which is Vedic in base, and it's called tantric numerology. I call it free will numerology because the frequencies and the system itself provide us a framework to make choices, to actually exercise our free will. So today we're going to talk about relationships and numerology. So what is that about, relationships and numerology? So first, numerology is a characteristic for the self, provide us parameters about our relationship with ourselves, knowing our own parameters and capacity in terms of our preferences, flavors, choices. And for our own characters, a numeric chart is identified our characteristic and how it will activate itself in time or timing. 2023 has a certain characteristic for all of us, but for each one of us, it has specific frequency and specific type of activation. In general, 2023 is, in terms of numerology and relationship, is much more about the physicality or the flexibility associated with relationship. It's about change. So what change needs to occur in the area of relationship? When I talk about relationship, I talk about either romantic or business, family and friends capability, acquaintances. It's relationships when we look at frequencies of two parties or more are reflected through their frequencies. And how does it work? When we look at a single chart, it's about your own characters or characteristics. When we look at two or sometimes more people together, can be a group also, we look at the combined personal numeric charts, how they combine together, and how they create a third entity. And the third entity is the combined characteristics of two personalities and how they are reflected in their relationship, partnership, entity or partnership chart. So the third entity is the combined characteristic patterns, qualities, preferences, challenges, and gifts, practices, and provide basically a combined character that holds the chart of two different personalities and create its own characteristics. And a numeric relationship chart will show what was the combined attraction, what anchors the relationship, what is likely an outcome, what are the practices and the choices that need to be formed in a specific relationship to make it positive, and what actually holds it, and what will be the practices that holds it in a positive pole. It's very, I would say, in my experience, I've done hundreds of partnerships, whether it was business or romantic, and it was always quite accurate in the sense of the framing of the dynamic of two individuals. The main things that actually hold a relationship is rely on our projection, which is our projection is defining our own numeric chart as the quality that determine what we attract into our lives. It can be a relationship, it can be a job. What would we project? Some people project creativity. Some people project the capacity to protect and defend. Some people project power and money, and so on, or healing. So our projection and the foundation that our character is formed on, these two parameters actually define the grades of compatibility between two people or between two businesses. Can be a business chart and a business chart, and how these two businesses combine together. We actually gonna just look at one aspect, not a whole, I would say, relationship chart. That's a whole complexity. You first need to understand numerology and how to form your individual chart to even understand how to combine two people's chart. So we're going to just look at an aspect of our soul position as the first indicator in our preferences of relationship. So the soul position is based on the day we were born. You can say your inner self, what motivates you, and how one chooses, or what kind of preferences you do have. And we're going to focus how these frequencies are in the area of relationship. So probably it's either yourself or people you know. We're going to go over on all, so in free will or tantric numerology, there's frequencies between 1 and 11, and we'll look at all of them. And probably you know many people that are in these frequencies. So you can say that the soul's Dharma, or the way it's reflected in the numeric scale from 1 through 11, provides a flavor of how we relate to others and what we may appreciate when it comes to collaborations and partnerships. So the day we were born provides an insight to our desires and inspirations. And when it comes to relationships, it indicates what our soul needs to work on to successfully relate to others. I'm going to repeat this. Soul position, from the perspective of relationship, is provide us an insight of how we effectively relate to others. Who are the characters that we will relate in a greater sense of ourselves, bigger sense of ourselves, when we actually in our positive pole, who will actually bring us to a place where we actually express ourselves much more fully. And this can be indicated from the soul position. So when we talked about the soul of one, it's the character of, you can say, the pioneer, the cowboy. The soul of one is all about trailblazing. It's soul of one is about one's unique vision and direction. And in relationships, they need people who are 1 or 10, people who are born on the 1st or the 10th or the 19th, are people that actually will do well in relationship with followers, with people that see the uniqueness of these pioneers or sometimes geniuses or unique characters, and can provide structure for them, ones that are flexible, communicative. Also, people are team-oriented that can provide more social context, because these one souls, people were born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th. I don't know if I'm missing one other. Anyway, you get the idea. Those people can be quite self-centered or sometimes perceived selfish because they're so entrenched in their mission or what they want to achieve. They also need some people that will provide them room to be more confident in their own pursuit, basically. People who are soul of 2 were born on the 2nd, the 20th. 11 is a higher octave of 2. These souls are really sensitive to others' needs. They like to accommodate others before they accommodate themselves. They also at times reflect their own position based on how other people respond. So they will have to develop first trust on their own ability to attract the right partners, because these soul of 2 are always in doubt about other people, especially women who are born under 2 has doubt about men, because more than likely sometimes women that were born under the imprint of 2 have a sense of disconnect or loss from a father figure. Now, they were likely to be working well with partners which will provide reassurance and support. They will do well with partners that provide structure, that provide certain stability and framework, that are trustworthy and reliable when it comes to follow through. This is really important. When we look at the soul of 3, 3 are creative people. 3 can be some sort of dramatic or drama queens. And people are born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 30th of the months. They will need to be grounded in their positive, because in their soul position, the 3rd, the 3, the 3rd dimension can be sometimes people that have a tendency to over worry. So these creative types wants to feel heard. They need attention. They will do really well with service-oriented partners, or which are like the number 4, or ones who are initiators that move action forward, or other creative type, other threes that actually kind of stimulate them in many ways. They will need to be also, threes need to be held to accountability in some form, because they have a tendency to be flirtatious and not to, and kind of dismiss their attention about relationship, even though they want one. Let's move into the fourth dimension. As all four appreciate structure, appreciate an organizing factor, a process in place. When it comes to partners, fours will do really well with some partners that provide them more fluid and more dynamic flexibility, that will appreciate the structure four provides. A soul four will have to be more flexible to attract the right partners, as well as more initiative oriented, because fours, a lot of time, they either fall into their own rules and rigidity, or they fall into laziness when it comes to initiate something or take it on. I would say that fours will benefit also from these number two characters, the people that actually needs structure and trust and reliability, because four are quite reliable and they're service oriented. When we come to a five soul, which is about movement, change, adventure, sense of freedom, free will is what guides them, and they will do well with other free willers or teachers, other fives. They will have to gain their own commitment to stick around, be stable and willing to gain depth. They are likely to attract collaborators who are communicative. They are likely to attract other people that actually, other partners that are more, I would say, team or family oriented, or are much more actually committed to their own cause, because fives like to change all the time. So the commitment issue for five is one that at times self-sabotage their own ability to form long-term relationships. Six souls are relationship oriented. However, the biggest fall is their idea that there's no one really perfect for them. Six is people that were born on the 6th, on the 15th, on the 24th of the month. So they are picky when it comes to saying, this is a partner that I'm willing to grow and develop with. They always think there's something better. So they can be a little bit promiscuous when it comes to, not when it comes to commitment, but when it comes to thinking that there's that the grass is greener somewhere else. So they will do well with people who are really structured, service-oriented, because it will provide them a foundation for the collective awareness or the family, the group orientation that they do hold. I mean, obviously, I'm giving just the snippets here of the vibration of each soul number. And I can say that a numeric chart, a partnership chart, will give much more in-depth the different nuances. Obviously, there are many factors when it comes to the suitability of two partners, but this gives us some indication what may be a successful or more positive connection when it comes to the different numeric characters or the archetypes in the numeric gamut, so to speak. Sevens are really interesting characters. Seven are really intellectuals. They're knowledge oriented. They're about being inspired. They like to be inspired by music, by philosophy. They can be too philosophical and in their communication and not very heart or emotional oriented in their attention. So people who are born on the 7th, on the 16th, on the 25th of the month, their challenge is to connect to their heart, to connect to their more emotional self. Also, 7 like their space. They like their alone time. So whoever is they attract needs to be okay of giving them enough space to roam on their own at times. 7s will benefit from partners who give them space, as I said, but also partners who are much more emotionally connected to their creative side, like a 3, like a 5 that wants to change, very emotional, very so they will benefit from partners who give them space and also stimulate their emotional expression. As we enter the 8th dimension, 8 appreciate control, appreciate power and money. They like to control things. They like to control the process. So they will really do well with partners that do not care about control, and they will do well with followers that can trust them, because 8 is very trustworthy when it comes to a process and following through areas of one step at a time. And for instance, a 2 will do well with an 8. 8 will have to kind of develop a quality of flexibility to attract the right partners, because they can be, one, fearful of losing their control and not letting in people easily, and they will do well as well with other business or money oriented people that kind of combine goal, like partnerships, either business or romantic, of like-minded entrepreneurs will do really well, unless, other than if they not to actually fight about who will control the direction of things. That can be sometimes can be an issue. When it comes to a 9 is a really interesting frequency. It's the subtle body. It's the mystical, the mystic. It's somebody who really appreciates mastery or going deep in area that required a lot of different layers. To appreciate details, it appreciate artistic expression, aesthetics. It's somebody who's really a quick learner. It will benefit tremendously from someone who's actually can provide more of a commitment to go deep, because these nines in a soul position can be a good starters of things, but not complete too many things. 9 is also the feminine essence. So whether it's a male or female, they can be quite sensitive and reactive. They will appreciate partners that have like social complexity and a sense of mastery. Like I would say, like like a 1, like a 10, somebody who's really is here to kind of a trailblazer in their purpose or conviction. The thing is, with a 9, they will have to be less reactive to hold the relationship, their desire in a positive pole. So they will have to actually, because these 9s, when things do not work for them, can be quite explosive, say the least. So their lesson in relationship is how to hold off on reacting to things and trying the subtle way in terms of resolving things. 9s are also prefer the power of suggestion than telling them what to do. So they will need partners who are creative and suggesting things or nurturing more versus kind of telling them what to do. And then in free will numerology or tantric numerology, we're getting 10 is an exaltation or of a 1, is 1 and 0, and it represents courage, nobility, leadership, and inspiration. These 10s are once people that support their desire to inspire. They can be the worst critics of themselves, so they need people who are really kind of, I would say, a 2 that really will say, you're doing really great. Who really kind of, a 2 is very impressionable by a 10, and that will be a very good side of relationship. Of somebody who's very dynamic or physical, like a 5, will do really well with a 10. They will, as I said, they will benefit from a 5 athletic types or diplomatic emotive type like a 2. And then 11 is the kind of amalgamation of all the numeric frequencies, and as a higher octave of a 2, it may be helpful to for them to attract people in general is to be able to consider other people's opinion and the other side of the coin, so to speak, because 11 can be very judgmental or very definite about their values, opinions, and criterias, standards. So they will have to be much more, and 11s also always, it's never actually they're always conflicted when it comes to the right person, and very hard for them to get into relationship. 11 is people who are born in the 11th, people who are born on the 29th. This is one rule in numerology, that all numbers go from 1 to 11, reduced to 1 to 11. And like, for instance, 31 is a 4, 28 is a 10, and so on. Where should we go from here? Well, I mean, I would open, if any of you have any specific questions, that please feel free to ask them. Or if you want to send me some of your question. You can send it over the email. So I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this video on my YouTube channel. So if other people, other people that will benefit from this, please share it with them. This is a little bit commercial, 50% off partnership relationship chart through the 14th of February. And as I said, relationship chart is a combine of two charts together. And you can just tap into my website and find a whole bunch of different offering and different interests that I do offer and engaged in. Also, a quick shout. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I do teach numerology or how to use the system. And I'm going to start. I'm going to offer again certification program. Part 1 is how to form a numeric chart in 7 weeks. It's on my website, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. It has 7 basically modules, and in them we're going to go through understanding numerology, understanding how to use the language, understand the basic position, and even after this part of the course itself, you'll be able to actually start to look at people's charts and provide advice to your friends, clients, and acquaintances. Again, the class starts with an orientation on the 8th of March. And I really appreciate, I see there's one question here. Okay, great. I will end by thanking you for showing up and for being curious. And a new moon is coming in this weekend. Really good opportunity to reignite your own passion and your own self-interest in yourself and in your journey. And with that, I would say have a good night, and hope to see you soon. Hari Om.